With the Metroid Prime series getting its fourth entry very soon, I figured I'd list off my rankings for my favorite bosses in Metroid Prime. Today we'll just be talking about the first game, but I will be making rankings for the other two Prime games in the future, and once I've beaten Prime 4 a couple times, I'll also do rankings for that bosses in that game. So let's start off with my least favorite. The Elite Pirates are technically bosses according to the game, but you fight a total of 3 of them at various points in the phase on mines, and they're all pushovers. One is completely skippable if you don't backtrack through the mines. They can be brought down in 2 super missiles, but they're basically a joke. This boss kinda irritates me. It's the only boss in the game who you can't speedrun defeating it. It forces you to go at its pace when fighting it, because it has a set attack pattern and set time where it's vulnerable. The only thing that keeps it from ranking lower is the fact that it gives you at least the morph ball bombs. This boss, if you perform the early space jump boot trick, is completely skippable. One of only 2 bosses you can skip if you have them. And much like the Incinerator drone, the boss controls the pace of the battle, only opening up damage when you kill all of the war wasps. But you can kill them faster or slower depending on your aim, so it's got that going for it at least. This enemy many wouldn't even consider a boss, but some sources claim that it is one, so I'm including it. The beetles are, and eventually the plated beetle you fight to get the morph ball, are the other boss you can skip by having the space jump boots early. And to be honest, it's kind of fun to fight them. You're strafing all over the room to kill the normal beetles, and when the plated beetle pops up, you have to strafe to avoid it, which is pretty fun to do, honestly. The first boss in the game, and by virtue of that, it's rather easy. But it is big and imposing, which is partly what ranks it this high. I like being able to dodge its admittedly weak laser beams, and shoot it in its big stupid maw. Some will complain in the comments to me about ranking the literal final boss so low, but hear me out for a second. In the PAL versions, trilogy version, and remastered versions of Metroid Prime, the inner core of the titular creature completely controls the pace of the fight, which is kind of a theme with these lower bosses if you can tell. It's invulnerable to all of your weapons, and it has to drop phase-on pulls for you to fire back at it. This has always bugged me because of the Metroids it spawns to defend it every time it drops a pool. However, you'll notice I left out the NTSC version from my explanation. That's because with a cheat code you can use Phazon Beam anywhere, and that makes this boss trivial. But since most players won't be able to do that, that's why it ranks this low. Despite me never frickin' remembering how to spell this thing's name, I kinda like Flagra. It's a giant praying mantis plant that looks really threatening. It's invulnerable to all of your weapons, but everything you have can stun it, allowing you to knock down the solar rays so you can bomb its roots. A neat interaction this boss has, though, comes with the Wave Burster, which without cheats or clever sequence breaking, you can't have before the fight. But if you do have it, you can kill it in under a minute, and I just think that's really neat. Unlike the regular Elite Pirates, the Phazon Elite, which guards one of the artifacts, is a one-time encounter. He does the same shit as the other elites do, shockwaves, shoots things, rinse and repeat, but his design is cooler, and I like that he takes more punishment than the other pirates. The Chigoth, whom you fight in the first one to get the wave beam, is an interesting boss. It's immune to your power beam, but shooting it with it will cause it to gain energy for its ice breath attacks, thus making it vulnerable to missiles being shot right into its gills. I really like this mechanic because it makes you in charge of the pace of the fight. The one thing that knocks it down is that once you have the ice beam and mess with the plasma beam, it becomes a normal encounter in certain rooms to defend around drifts. Thardus is the mid-game boss that gives you the Spider Ball, and it's a slightly mixed bag for me. On the one hand, it's large and threatening and has an imposing theme and powerful presence. On the other hand, it only takes a set amount of damage from attacks, meaning there's no way to make the battle go faster. However, when it rolls around, you can use bombs to either avoid needing it to lose the thermal visor more than once, so at least you can do that to make the battle much easier. Oh, and if you can get the plasma beam before this fight, it makes it even more easy. The Omega Pirate is the second hardest boss in the game in my opinion. He's enormous, towering over Samus in his admittedly large arena where you fight him in. He has a bevy of attacks and can even summon minions to his defense. You need to really use everything you've learned up to this point to take him down, and I think that this challenge makes him tougher. But if you've already collected everything up to this point, he's a fair challenge that is admittedly quite fun. The titular Metroid Prime lives up to its reputation, being a massive armored Metroid with a huge supply of missiles, laser beams, beam attacks, explosives, and lunge attacks to hurt you with. The main reason I put him so high is actually her weakness is shifting. Unlike her inner core form, she becomes vulnerable to every weapon besides the power bomb at various points throughout the battle, which incentivizes strategy during the fight. Definitely a very imposing battle, and one worth the title. Of course, Meta Ridley has to be number 1. About 10 years ago, I put Thardus as my pick for favorite Metroid Prime boss over Meta Ridley, and I've regretted it ever since. Meta Ridley is amazing. The whole reason we explore the planet is to hunt him down and kill him. His design is amazing, and he's pretty challenging too. If you haven't collected every energy tank in the game, he can be quite the challenge. I love how in the original GameCube versions, you can boost ball into him when he lands to dramatically speed up the fight. But if you're playing on the newer version of the game, this glitch was removed. Kind of a pity, but that doesn't detract from how cool of a boss he is, easily cementing him as my #1 favorite boss in the game. So that's it, every Metroid Prime boss ranked from worst to best. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button, it helps a lot. Don't forget to subscribe too, and until next time, this has been ZDS, making each of fun one video at a time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.